Welcome back to Out Chicago. Scott Tuff here, along with Ellen Miller, rolling along here.
It was nice to have Doris on and Melody.
I know. It's very exciting. Look, we're keeping the creativity going. Look, here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you enjoy fine purveyors of camp.
And who doesn't?
If you like comedy, if you just enjoy going to support like people who are a little twisted, you're gonna love. I love them so much. Handbag Productions. They are, first of all, the fact that they are concluding their 21st season is amazing. As it's like the theater company that could, and they are the Chicago's finest purveyors of camp theater here in Chicago's, and they are finishing the season with the world premiere musical parody Murder ReWrote that starts August 10th and runs through September 16th at the Den Theater. And joining us now are the brilliant minds behind it, playwright Ed Rutherford and director Anthony Whitaker. Ed and Anthony, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for taking time out. I know you are probably teching things right now or things are happening, and thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. But when I saw that this was happening, I lost my ever-loving mind. I love Murder, She Wrote. Are y'all big fans? I'm assuming you must be, at least you, Ed, for penning a play, a musical, no less.
Oh, definitely. I've been a huge fan of the show. I think what happened is I got laid off from a job in 2010. This must have been, and that was the silver lining of that was I think several seasons of Murder, She Wrote were on Netflix or one of the streaming services at the time, and that sort of helped get me through, so to speak. And ever since then, I've been a huge fan. I bought the entire box set on DVD, watched all the episodes, etc. So I'm a pretty huge fan of Jessica Fletcher and all of her works.
Look, let me tell you, and like I said this earlier in the show, if Jessica Fletcher is on your guest list, do not go to that party because someone's going to die. And she's going to have to try to figure it out, and in the most charming New Englandy way.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to. You're not the one who gets who gets axed as part of the plot.
I know. That's the part where I'd be like, no, because it could be me. I don't know. I loved Murder, She Wrote so much. Actually, my brother-in-law was on a couple episodes of it. It was one of his first jobs, and he actually had a moment with Angela Lansbury. Was like, hey, he was goofing, trying to keep it together, but it's Angela freaking Lansbury, I mean, come on. Yeah. And he was like, look, I got to see you. And I think she was touring with either Gypsy or Mame, one of those shows where she's just a delight. And you were my child. I've been a huge fan. And she said, well, look, there you were. And here you are. Aww. How wonderful. And she was just so gracious.
She seemed like she was wonderful.
And lovely. So Ed, as you're tackling this clearly much beloved, at least by this homosexual right over here, series, what were you looking for when you were developing it into a new musical parody?
Well, there's a few things that if you're sort of a deep lover of the show that sort of come up again and again and again. And it seemed like, as much as I adore the show, also something that was sort of ripe for, a little bit of playful, loving tweaking in the form of a parody. One thing you mentioned, of course, is that she seems to, have issues with murders happening pretty much wherever she goes, is one. But also, sort of high level, one of the other things is she's got this sort of legion of relatives, nieces and nephews.
She does.
Right. Sort of the most well-known of which, of course, is Grady Fletcher, bless his heart, who does his best, but is I think we can all agree is fairly useless carrying this. And so wanted to incorporate that, some of the high level stuff that everyone loves about the show, but also include some, a deep cut here and there for the true rabid fanboy to have a little bit of an Easter egg for them. Case in point, we have a puppet cat designed by Jabberwocky marionettes that plays importantly in the plot. The cat's name is Muff Muff, which we didn't pull that out of thin air. That is actually the name of a cat that plays an important role in the episode Crossed Up in season 3. Yeah, so those kind of deep cuts, it was important to include too.
I love. So, what is the story that you've concocted for Murder ReWrote that is closing out Helena Handbag's 21st season?
Sure. So the idea, this is kind of an apocryphal episode, like feels like it could have been a real episode in an alternate universe sort of early in season 4. One of the things you might recall about the series, especially because it ran for so many years, is that there are some episodes where if you squint, it's kind of a thin gloss on maybe some other stories as well. And so, for example, there's one episode that is a boardroom drama that's kind of like Shakespeare's The Scottish Play. And in this episode, especially because Helena Handbag has such experience parodying Joan Crawford and Mommy Dearest, we wanted to do an episode where if you kind of squint, there's some similarities to a certain Faye Dunaway movie. There's a movie star named June Crayfish, wink, who has a daughter named Christina, and they don't get along. And Grady's working for them, and Jessica goes and visits her nephew, and things kind of transpire from there as a murder starts happening.
And the rest was murder, as they say. So, so as you said, look, you could not be in better hands than Helena Handbag's productions because they're brilliant with parodies. And it's all done out of love. And as you said, you know, one of their smash hits was Golden Girls. They look like their Golden Girls episodes, which are all new, feel like they could be a real episode. And it seems like this is the perfect marriage of like play and company to do this work. So Anthony, this is your first time with Handbag. I mean, you're a very celebrated artist, all over the place, but it's your first time with Helena Handbag. What was your approach when tackling this material? Because it is so beloved.
Well, it's a really great parody of Murder, She Wrote, which everybody watched with their grandmother. And you know, it's a great tribute to the show, but in its essence, Ed and George Howe have written a really great musical that pays tribute to lots of Angela Lansbury musicals, a lot of Jerry Herman, and a lot of other musical theater references that are a lot of fun. But it is really a great musical. It's a very traditional 2-act musical. It's a little crazy, and we have Joan Crawford and Christina Crawford torturing each other, or Crayfish, sorry.
Sorry,
Crayfish, yes.
Yes.
Torturing each other musically, but it is a big old fat musical. It's a big old gay musical, and I've approached it like that. Like it's like Jerry Herman came up out of the grave and wrote a new one.
Oh my gosh. I cannot wait. I mean, how many, so it's a full on 2-act musical. How many, I know Ed, you were working with a composer. How many songs did y'all write for the show?
I want to say the track list, I want to say is 11 total. It's something like that.
And yeah. George Howe is the music and lyricist. Is there any other shows or songs or music that we would know that he might have done here in town?
Sure. So I have tremendous admiration for George's work. He's been very, very busy over the years, including he's frequently worked with Lifeline Theater up in Rogers Park, written their children's musicals, as well as on their main stage, 2 pieces called Northanger Abbey and Queen Lucia, I want to say is the other one.
So he's done some nice work around town. So that's.
Oh, yeah, look, here's the thing. Just because it's campy and just because it's a parody doesn't mean that it's not good quality material. Like that's the thing that always kind of, as a comedian and a comedic actor, that's the part that always kind of drives me crazy, because they're always like,
people assume things.
It's funny, and so it's like blah, so it's less than. It's like no, not everybody can make you laugh. Not everybody can sing these songs. Do this. So it's like it's. You approach, at least Anthony, this is, from my experience in the theater, it's like you approach this comedy from a very serious point of view. Like, this is really happening.
Oh, definitely. And we've managed to bring together sort of the best of Handbag, the people that you're used to seeing, the David Sertas and the Ed Jones, who are so wonderful. And we've managed to mix that with a group of new performers to the Handbag scene who are real powerhouse musical theater people in the storefront scene in Chicago.
Oh, good.
Our lead is Britton Gephardt, who I've worked with several times, who's been around the city for a long time now. And she's playing Bessica Felcher, and she's just amazing. I'm thrilled every day that I get to watch her. And we have a beautiful ensemble, and they're amazing singers. So, I hate to just refer to this as a parody musical because it's such a strong musical.
Right.
Ed's script is very, very complete and wonderful, and George's music is outstanding.
Are there any plans to take this musical elsewhere after it finishes its run at the Den with...
Yeah, we're opening on Broadway in the spring.
That's what you heard it here first, Andrew. This was the scoop, Anthony, that I was hoping that we would hear. So thanks.
Yeah, we're hoping to do a pre-Broadway tour in about December, and then Broadway in the spring, London in the fall.
There you go. That makes total sense. That tracks.
We must dream big in this world.
100%.
You never know. I mean, come on.
One never knows. I mean,
with this kind of talent behind it.
I know.
Yeah.
Look at Urinetown.
Right.
Urinetown started here.
I saw the original Urinetown in the basement.
See? There we go.
And the original Schoolhouse Rock was in the same basement many years ago.
I know.
It happens. It happens, Anthony.
I actually did that show.
Oh, Scott did?
Did you really?
Not in the basement, but I did do Schoolhouse after it came back from being off Broadway when it returned to Chicago. And then I did the first national tour of it. But anyway, that's me.
Oh, wow.
I'm so fancy. But not as fancy as you, as Ed and Anthony over here, who are putting their brains to create Murder ReWrote, a parody of the beloved Murder, She Wrote. What do you hope folks leave with art? Here's the thing that I've always found with a Helena Handbag show. There's always at least one moment where your jaw just drops to the floor, going like, "What are they do? Oh no, they did that!" Do we have moments of that we can expect throughout Murder ReWrote?
Oh, there's going to be 7 or 8 of them this time.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to give away too much, but there's definitely a pretty amazing moment, I think, from what I've seen in rehearsal that involves that previously mentioned puppet cat, Muff Muff. And then one thing I always loved about Murder, She Wrote is on the occasions where Jessica Fletcher has the occasion to go in disguise, somewhere. Yes. And so I definitely made sure that there's a chance for her to go in disguise as part of her investigating, and that scene a pretty fantastic moment in the show too.
I'm picturing it already and laughing. All right, just because it sounds like it's going to be crazy.
Oh my God! Do you remember the scenes when she would go in disguise? I just remembered they're ridiculous, and she becomes like a flute. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
They're made for parody.
They are made for parodies, right? And Helena Handbag is the company that is made to do this world premiere musical. Y'all, I'm telling you, if you want something that's going to brighten up your days, that will be helping local artists and supporting like a really, really amazing. I just have such a huge soft spot for Helena Handbag Productions. Make sure you go check out the world premiere of the musical Murder ReWrote. We're going to leave parody out. We're just going to new musical Murder ReWrote. It's running August 10th through September 16th at the Den Theater. If you want to find out more information and get some tickets, head over to handbagproductions.org. Ed Rutherford, Anthony Whitaker, thank you for taking time out. I know this has got to be a busy time for you because previews start TikTok in a couple of days. So break legs as you're going towards previews, and happy opening. And thank you so much for bringing joy and murder to Chicago.
Thank you. And Scott, I just want to say, I haven't seen you in person since before the pandemic, but I wanted to thank you for your online cooking videos throughout the pandemic.
Oh, thank you.
They were great, weren't they?
They were
fantastic.
They really were, and it was a good thing to get to wake up to when you had nothing else to do that day.
Oh, well, thank you.
Come see the show. I want to see you.
I will definitely come see the show. Are you kidding me? I'm usually there,
Great.
Front row. I like to sit in the splash zone, as it were.
Oh, well, good.
There we go.
Well.
All right, Ed Rutherford and Anthony Whitaker, thank you so much. And again, break legs.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
All righty, we've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is the final thrilling show-stopping moments about Chicago right here on WCPT.